tell you that I do just on the press release and the magazine side. Obviously, I have TV. Obviously, I have podcasts. Obviously, I have radio show. Radio show comes out this Saturday, by the way. It's every other Thursday. And then, of course, you don't want to pay up, you know, an arm and a leg. You can also be on Level Up magazine. So I will actually get the fourth edition in December. I'm still thinking about looking forward in the future, which is, the 2025 business leaders to look for, right? So I'll be looking for a trend, more, not transformational because I already did the issue number 3 for that, but I'm going to be looking forward to something else for sure. But you never know what's cooking in my brain. Now, are you guys ready? There's over 546 people here waiting for my guest live. Okay. No pressure, Matt. No pressure. All but love. I'm going to bring in Matthew because he's been waiting. We've been talking, and I think that he deserves his time in front of you. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, CJ. How are you doing today?
Good, good, good. So, first question of the day is this. Think back 20 years ago. Find within your timeline some of those significant changes in your life that got you here where you are today.
Um, oh wow. Um, it's 20 years looking back is to me like if I would like paint a perfect picture for you. If you were to envision what it feels like a turtle slowly going up like a like a mountain, but then that turtle's getting like avalanches and all these kind of storms. Imagine just like it's been slow process over time and just in personal health and developing myself. um I I I don't really like to live in the past. I don't live in the past. I want to say this like straight from my heart because I have no remorse. I for my mother and for my stepfather, I choose to live for them. A little bit of part of me does kind of feel like I have like lost a little bit of childhood, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to that. If you know what that feels like, my heart goes out to you. There's something precious about time that um, you can't buy that back, and you have to enjoy the moment that you are in, and appreciate it, value it. I mean, it's like but without the lessons that were taught and that I learned over time, I do feel so much more mental clarity, like so much more aware and a lot more mindful. I have a lot more compassion. I live with and and yeah, that would be my answer to your question, CJ.
That's awesome. Life is hard but fun. The ups and downs of life is what makes it fun, because if it's too low all the time, you don't want to be here. If it's too high all the time, you think you're untouchable, right? So what goes up what comes down, so you just kind of do that. Were you able to hear me? Mike's like, we can't hear you. Are you live? um Hopefully you just saw what I just showed you, but hopefully you hear me now, Mike. I think he says like, we can hear you now. Okay, I guess I was
Yeah, Meg.
muted. I don't know what's happening.
Uh,
um
we're
can you
here,
hear me
Mike.
okay?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Mike, for being here. Mike was the first one, and of course Homer from the Philippines is here. I wanted to bring light to your story, whatever you're comfortable of sharing, but also more of how you're defining moment to say, hey, I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to touch people's lives from experience, right? So, my first question would be, what challenges have you faced in your journey towards belonging, and how are they shaping your personal or professional growth?
That's a great question, and um, I I will say, um, when I first started to be as transparent as I am about the obstacles I faced, I I just and I I just accepted it. That's who I was. And even from like going on a trip with a lady that I went to church with and accidentally telling but I'm comfortable with where I'm at and I love who I have become. And I have no shame in that. I think um the challenges that I've faced, it's I was judginess. Like people will always, it's human nature. People are always going to judge, unfortunately, until time unfolds. And if a person even decides that they want to see past all the preconceived notions and like that, where someone's supposed to be at in life, and I I choose to live for me. I choose to live authentically. I choose to try and inspire other people that um it's very possible. Like, and my heart goes out to some of the people that are still suffering. It is a statistic fact that every 11 minutes someone dies from fentanyl. And I think the more we get into these deep conversations, um, because I saw not a lot of people didn't want to talk about it, and I get lost in deep conversations like all day. Like I'm a sucker for that. So, um, but at the same time, it's near and dear to my heart because I know what that struggle is like. It was hard. It was really hard to make that choice and separate myself, and uh, but at the same time, it's like I I I I try, and it's not like something I want to forget because I know there's people out there still suffering, uh,
I think it comes with choices, right? You don't know what you don't know until you do. Um, I've also grown up this year so much personally. Um, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. Like, I've grown up in friendship big time. I've grown up in conversations big time. I've grown up on my people pleasing issues big time. I've grown up on turning my pain off. Like when people PO'd me or crossed my boundaries, I don't spend my energy asking them why. I don't need the reason of why they do what they do because most of the time I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can give. But I could never change people's mind if they're tainted already. If they already think that I'm this bad person and I'm this, whatever I say literally will be blah 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 blah, right? Like there is no point of explaining myself. You don't need an explanation to feel there's something wrong, right? So what I do now, I've grown up to just let go. And I feel like singing like let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Like it doesn't matter what you think of me. It doesn't matter what you are doing to me, because at the end of the day, I'm not keeping score with you or with anybody else. I'm keeping score with the man above. My karmic points is not for anybody. And if I am a soldier of God, and if you're going to go against me, that's on you, brother and sister. That's not on me, because I'm not living my life opening my eyes every day and saying, who can I gossip and hurt today? I don't do that. I'm like, who can I help today? Who can I elevate today? How can I do life better? How can I clean my house because it's a mess right now? Like, I think of those, like, what am I going to do with my dogs today? Those are the thoughts that goes in my head, and what kind of programs I can do, what kind of stories can I write, right? Those are the things. I don't wake up to gossip on people, and it's really sad, but it's definitely on the Bible where um sometimes you have to be an island to be strong. And for you, Matt, you've gone through experiences that maybe most people have not, right? And when it comes to belonging, how has your understanding of community and belonging evolved over time? And what role has it played in your current success?
Well, I think I would I think there's many ways to define success. I will start that at first because there's an automatic perception that's projected out when it comes to success. And you could be successful in washing your clothes. It doesn't always have to involve people at a higher standard. But I will like to shout out to Hounds of Business, Mike, um, Level Up Academy, and you, Dr. CJ. I have met some of the nicest people moving on to LinkedIn, and it's just it's like it's very encouraging. It's people that are uplifting each other, and it's not like a bunch of. It's not like just because you're positive, you're fake and you're all full of crap, or like and people. Because that's one thing that I I don't like to be around myself. I don't like to be around people that lie, and it's so like if you're positive all the time, I'm gonna call BS. Like because it's human nature for us to feel that, and that is the self-awareness. But also shout out, I would like to say to Cornerstone, who I met them on LinkedIn. Shout out to Jennifer, Jennifer Jill, Keith, Trevor, just a great community that I also met on there. And they're kind of like the same thing as far as like encouraging and lifting up other people. I've met some really nice people.
Yeah, I've met so many amazing and interesting people on LinkedIn, but I also have met the most vile people on LinkedIn, right? Just like you said, it is touch and go, and for some people, they're like, I'm going to stay away from LinkedIn because, it's like evil or whatever. It's really choices, right? So, my advice to you is watch your friends that you surround yourself with. If you feel that the conversation is always talking bad about somebody, mostly me, um, feel it out yourself, right? Like you have to feel it out, and you have to have your own brain, and you have to have your own core values to really see the difference. And it's two-way street too, right, Matt? Like if someone gives you something, it's your choice to take it or not to take it, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
if
absolutely.
someone gives you a drink and you know it's a bad drink and you got to go drive a truck tomorrow for a living, why the heck would you drink up all of that bottle, right? Like it's just saying, like, because I have friends who's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't stop doing this." And I'm like, "Well, what are you doing that you can't stop? Like what are some of those choices that you're doing that you can't stop?" And sometimes they look and stop for a moment. You're like, "Oh my god, you're right." Right? Because sometimes it takes a third party person to tell you that, hey, by the way, maybe it's not that drink that's the problem. Maybe it's you and your choices is the problem, right? So we got to self reflect and pivot. If you're feeling like crap today, ask yourself why. Like last week was a crappy week, and this week is an amazing week. I feel the energy, bad energy and bad juju getting out of my circle. So I'm like, dancing queen. That's like that's what I think. Um,
I feel it over here.
yeah, and I'm like, Matt, let's go dancing queen. I love dancing. I love music. The energy is out. I'm feeling good. Last week was a crappy freaking week. I almost got, I have ADHD, so I got like a little depressed because someone told me that this person said this to them. I'm like, what kind of freaking effed up human being says that to somebody? And then this so called friend left them in that dungeon. And so I'm like, nope, I'm getting rid of that friend too, because that is not a friend. That is a silent enemy looking like a friend to you. But if you don't recognize it, bye. That's sort of like return to sender, man. Let's level up. Um, so
When
that's
I
my
see that stuff,
question.
oh,
Go ahead.
well, I was gonna say when I see something like that happen, I'm thinking to myself, like, what are we watching? Gossip Girls?
Adults and high school, my daughter, she's like, Mom, why does your friendship sounds like a TV show with all this drama? And I was like, oh my God, you're right. How am I not getting paid for this? What is happening here? Um, but I just keep moving because people like yourself needs to have your story to inspire others, right? So thank you for the shout out, and I hope, Mike, you're watching. But were there any pivotal mentors or relationships that helped you guide towards that feeling of more connected or accepted, because you're still in this journey, right? We're in it together. So how is that moment for you?
um, I when it comes to that, I think, and I'm going to say this uh, like I hope other people can take this in. There are multiple ways to find self-guidance. At least I've found for myself. Um, and look at it as a form of energy. I mean, if I'll start with that. When it comes to like music, everything that you take in, that I've music has helped me so much. I mean, I've been listening to music hardcore for like 20 years. Like sometimes I'm surprised, like I'm not rapping about my story, um but guidance, you can find it. I would say shout out to Rob Dial, the mindset mentor. I appreciate um he kind of has, I've talked to people with him, and he's been nothing but like supportive and trying to help me move forward. um and then, as far as music goes, like I'll be straight up, like I think we all bleed the same, but I will say when I was going through my journey, like seeing the musician Jelly Roll like speak to Congress about the opioid epidemic, like really inspired me to start speaking out about certain things that have helped me. So it kind of to try and help other people. Like I tried to, kind of come with the ripple effect, just doing what I can. And like medicinal things, research that are healthier for your brain, healthier for your mind, healthier for your soul, all around. These are evidence-based research um, things that they have found, and it's you know these are some things that I do see changes in certain parts of the states that are being attempted at trying to switch it over. And shout out to like Boston, ESMA. Like I've had a couple conversations with them about mental health and like speaking about it, because if you don't speak about it, acknowledge it, it's gonna build up. So that's very important. That one thing I've learned, and I like I like talking about it, you know? It helps.
Yeah, and I love that, I don't know who this LinkedIn user is. For some reason, it's not probably plugged in, but great hearing you on this platform, Matthew. Keep telling your story and providing support those who may have traveled similar paths, right? So then I really wanted to know, like, sometimes people get into their heads that they're not good enough. I'm sure you have gone through those moments where you're like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, there's no point. I feel like everything that I'm doing is wrong. Everyone that I love or cared for is like not here and not supportive. I don't know what's the point. I'm sure I've gone through that myself. Um, and I'm going to tell you what get me through that thought and thinking. But I want to know more about when you are in those pivotal moments of your life and you're thinking so low about yourself, right? Like imposter syndrome kicks in, and we talked about it offline. What are some of those pivotal moments that keeps you going, keeps you motivated to say, no, I'm going to live, and this is why?
Yeah. Uh, um, I think like self-belief is very important, even of the unknown. Like, and it doesn't matter what you believe in. I am not. I'm not. I try to be the least judgiest in the room. I just saw Maps. Shout out to Maps too. I've been tagging them too, but um, I try to be the least judgiest in the room, because that's sacred to someone, like what they personally believe. I mean, I myself, I have an interesting story with this cross. One of my friends, like I don't say a few months ago, he was losing his mind, crying. We went on a trip to Austin. I gave it to him, and it was because that we had microdosed, but when I gave it to him, he checked into rehab, and then it's like I'd left with him, and I didn't like he had it. I didn't know if I was going to get it back, um, but he ended up mailing it to me. But as far as when it comes to like belief and like spirituality and all that stuff, like I just I I can I don't like to determine that for someone else, and I try to look at it, why can't you just believe in everything, like that's my opinion on it.
I love that. And your name actually is in the Bible, right? So that's funny that you have that. I am a Christian, guys. I practice through my heart. I don't do drugs. I don't do alcohol and all that, but I have my own vices. So I don't judge people on what they have accomplished, because some of us react different to pain, right? To trauma, and everybody has trauma. Your trauma is not worse than mine or bad than mine. There are some things we make choices that could be worse for us. But at the end of the day, there's no point of judging each other when the judge should be up there, right? So, like Romans verse, this is in the New Testament, New Bible, Romans 12:5, right? Since we're talking about the cross. So in Christ, we, though many, from one body, and each member belongs to all the others. What does that mean? Belonging. We belong from each other, really. And so us fighting together as people is ridiculous, right? But then Ephesians 2:13 in the New Testament also saying, but now in Jesus, who once were far away, have been brought near by the blood of Christ. What does that mean? That's on top of your interpretation. For me, it's like there's always ups and downs, right? Jesus died on the cross for all our sins, but we continue to sin anyway. Why is that? Because he gave you choices. He gave you that power, the power of choice. Everything that we do every single day is a power of choices that we make, right? So if you make mistakes, be accountable. And this is why I want to do that, because Michelle says we have to live for ourselves. Others need to be accepting and accountable. Correct. Because if we live for other people, not only are we miserable, but we're not living our own true life. Right. And what is one true life? I don't know. Whatever ticks you, whatever makes you happy, whatever motivates you. And if that something is just breathing, then do it. If that means talking to people, then do it, right? But living your life the best way you know how, so long as you're not hurting people, I am for you. So I want to ask you, what advice would you give to others who are still searching for their sense of belonging in their personal or professional lives?
Um, I would say, I mean, there's always another seat at the Hounds. I mean, we're very welcoming. It's hey Ali, and it's you don't have to do it by yourself. Um, you don't have to know everything. I will be the first one to tell you, and guilty as charged. I didn't pay attention in high school. Um, I had other things at the time I was more worried about. But I feel like I have the most kind of growth mindset I've ever had in my life at my age now. And it's fun. Like I enjoy even like I'm never gonna know it all. I don't think anyone will, but I love to like learn new things and stay curious. Like that's what makes life fun.
So at one point, we had 1,600 watching and listening to you, right? And life is hard by itself, by yourself. But life is interesting and fun and chaotic and painful when you're in a group. So if you were to choose to be alone or be part of the chaos, which one would you choose and why? And you can't say both.
uh, uh, what about finding comfort in the chaos?
Harmony, harmony. No such thing as balance. I hate it when people like balance. I'm like, guys, it's no such thing. Ugh. That means it's 50-50. There's no way you could do 50-50 in every single thing, right? But I love it. I don't know why, but for some reason, my ADHD mind literally went to Montel Jordan's song that when you were talking about like that's my advice. Have you heard of the song? I love hip hop and R&B. It's called "This Is How We Do
Yeah,
It." Yeah, that's
this
that's how
is
I'm
how
thinking.
we do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Friday night and I feel all right. CJ, it's only Wednesday. I'm like, okay, in my head, it was Friday. Who's gonna go against me? Okay, that's what I'm just saying.
I'm all down for karaoke. Let's go.
Oh, oh, I love it. We're Filipino. We just sing just cause. Even if we can't sing, we don't care, right? It's the fun part. It's like yes, I own that. But I love this conversation. We do have to end in like 15 minutes. Is there anything that you would like people who is watching you right now all over the world to know about you and turning your pain into purpose? What does that mean to you?
um, well, I would like to, I guess, to answer that question, CJ. Um, I will, like, personally, I would like to say if you are going through something like a problem or addiction or alcoholism and are wanting to stop, the best advice that I can give is to just believe in something, believe in yourself, be creative, keep working on yourself every day, every day. I have you be consistent with it. Don't make things overcomplicated, even though I can tell you it took so much for me to change my lifestyle. Like, I literally had to force myself to walk again because I couldn't move because I didn't feel good if I didn't have it. Like, it took everything for me to get to where I am at today, and that's why I'm just so like grateful to wake up and be alive. I watched my friend die when I was 23 years old. Like it, rest in peace, bro. Too. And if if it helps for you to hear this, then I'll put it out there too. Like, because I know that there's a lot of stigma and people think it's taboo. Like, yes, I will admit I microdosed and I did DMT to help uh, my journey. Like, and that's just what it is. Like, and if it resonates with you, but I will add to that only in moderation. Moderation for everything, right? That's the name of the game, CJ. But that would be my best advice. That all that stuff kind of made me realize I am a soul and gave me.
Okay, now I can't hear you. What happened to your mic? Matt, for some reason I can't hear you. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear us?
Yes.
See, there you go. I'm like, I don't know what you said. You might have said something super amazing, and for that 30 seconds, I couldn't hear you. Complete that.
Oh, sorry. I think someone was calling, and that's probably what cut it off. But what I was saying is like I turned so spiritual, like it's like, and I always use emojis with like the hands going like, and the hand with the awakening. Like I love it. Like it's practice makes perfect. So well, not perfect, but because none of us are, but if you that just tells you though, if you continue to work on something day after day after day, whether it's sobriety or networking or diet or working out, there's so many things, but consistency is key. Um, and be confident, like I heard Mike say one time, stand like an oak tree. And I resonate with that. Like I believe there's spiritual meaning behind an oak tree. So I for a long time I studied Pinterest, and just loved what that looking at what different animals meant, and like different plants and all the things that are around. Like I probably spent too much time. I should have a Pinterest degree.
Yeah, maybe we'll give you that. For sure. I also like when you were talking about who you are and what you used to do and just, decided to stop. A lot of people are still doing that right now today. I know some people who are they've gone to rehab 4 times and they just somehow just don't have the willpower. What kind of mindset, like think back for a moment, just hear me out. The moment you said, I don't want to do this anymore. What is that pivotal moment that you thought, okay, I'm going to change? How did you go from doing this to like, I'm stopping?
I guess I'm gonna bring in the OG Albert Einstein on this because I'm gonna use his famous quote. And I got a feeling of sick and tired, and like, and his quote is like, if um, if you repeat the same thing over and over again, and like you can't expect anything different when it comes to the results, it's like that's insanity. So I mean, I got tired of sticking a needle in my arm, and I got tired of you know that lifestyle and a lot more of all of that stuff. And I will tell you, it is worth it if you can overcome and detach yourself. It's worth it. Like life has never been more beautiful for me. I see the beauty in everything. Like I don't know if everyone kind of looks at life like that, but I that's kind of how I choose to see it. Um, and I want other people to as well.
Right there, keyword. I choose to see it. Remember the power of choice from the beginning, what I said, right? It's a power of choice. If you are suffering right now from whatever it is, whether it's sadness, losing friends, losing family, losing your home, judgment, unplug for 5 to maybe 6 hours. Just unplug, cleanse yourself for a little bit of social media and breathe. Listen to your breathing, listen to your mind. Then write it down after that and said, okay, what are my core values that I want to see myself? Sometimes we don't create rules of engagement for ourselves on how we engage with others. So when people come into our life that have so strong personality, we grasp on that personality and we don't even see that they're pouring negativity on your life until it is too late to get out. Remember the power of choice, just like what Matt said. And I love this song. You probably don't know. Homer knows this guy because we grew up in the Philippines. I was born and raised in the Philippines, but it's from Jose Marie Chan. You guys look him up. He's Chinese. His last name is Chan. Mine's Chua. Before I got married to a Leland, I'm a Chua. So basically, it's called Beautiful Girl. And I wanted to change that like beautiful people. He's like, beautiful girl, wherever you are. I knew when I saw you, right? Think about your life. I knew when I saw you. Not for people, but like just your life. When you know there's in your gut there's trouble, you feel it, but you are a people pleaser, so guess what? You ignore your feelings, your intuition, your body telling you, heck no. But you're like, but it feels so good. Let's just do it. That's how I feel with shopping, by the way. I have issues. Okay. Like, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. I
You crack
haven't
me
bought
up.
like a huge shopping spree bag this year, which I lied. I think in March I did, but nothing else after that. Okay. So I that's my vices. Like people will judge you of drugs or alcohol, but shopping is a bad thing too. I don't do gambling though. I'm not a gambler. I would rather spend my money on shopping than gambling for sure. And I live in casinos everywhere, but I don't do that. I have access to winery. I don't really drink because I take my migraine medicine, right? So when you love something, when you're passionate about something, go with that. But do not forget to love yourself and the power of choice. When people tell you you're this, you're that, you're this, choose wisely. Do you want to take what they prescribe of who you are, or do you know who you are? And I love Ulu because he is strong and resolute. And that's what I got him attracted when he was attacked on an audio room actually. And I felt bad. And I called him and I messaged him. And he's in Nigeria. And he's like, you want to do what with me? And I'm like, I want to Zoom, brother, right now. He didn't know me from schmack, nothing. I wanted to tell him in his face that I was so proud of him for not losing his shite, right? And he was resolute. He was professional when people were laughing in that room and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, see, there's a difference in when you become an adult with children, the nonsense children who has really insecurities to the max, and the people who's the island and strong because they know the power of choice. And so I'm proud of you. I want to publicly, 1,000 people watching us still right now towards the end, I want to publicly tell you how proud I am for your power of choice. Now, my last question before we end,
Thank
Matt, if this is your last day today on this earth, what would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of living life, legacy, and impact?
you. What would be my parting message? Just if this was my last day, just know that everything that was said on here was straight from my soul. I poured in from my heart. And I don't. This is just real talk. This is who I am, and I would love to you know see some changes in the world, but I always just stay in the present and continue to keep moving forward. And I would also say if you're out there, find some positive people to encourage you and lift you up. You don't have to feel alone.
Yeah, it's the opening up because you're fearing judgment because you've been traumatized before and people judge you, right? And so it's hard to open up. I've been in that situation, but I have a really cool, strong core friends, my besties, Susanna and Danielle. Like they are my core people, right? They're my judge and executioner sometimes too, but lovingly, right? I think when you don't know the person and you don't trust the person, when they tell you, hey, I don't like what you're doing, they see it as, God, she's judgmental, right? But if your best friend tells you, CJ, you're out of line, you're like, oh, crap, I did. You're like, yeah, right? And so you take those words to heart. But when you choose to see other people you don't know telling you what to do with your life, you're like, who the heck are you, right? But if it's someone close to you, you're like, oh, maybe, but you get hurt because the value of that words means a lot. So thank you for being somebody to somebody who can get inspiration from you because you're not talking about your life, you're talking about the power of choice that you made for yourself. And that is where I want to encapsulate and like put it on a bottle and saying, this is Matt's thoughts about how you can get from A to B during those moments of pivotal moments in his life. And I really want to do that for you and for others. So, any last minute ideas or thoughts that people can and where they can get a hold of you?
Um, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I I think my name's Matt or Matthew Thomas on there, but I also have social media on Instagram and YouTube. My name is Infinite Minds Think Alike. My email is Infinity Minds Think Alike, and then I also have on Facebook as well. If you need help with like any kind of mental health issues, I will tell you right now, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but have I dealt with those kind of issues since I was like 14 years old and overcome a lot of things myself to keep a positive mindset? Absolutely. So if you are struggling, I I'm here, and I'm not one of these sales pitch people either though too. Like I sometimes I just help people because I want to. Like, and uh, that's just who I am. So
Wait,
yeah.
Oli says, congrats for 62K. Later, I know, brother. Please subscribe to Level Up. I know that's my goal till like December. We'll see how it goes. That was my goal. Last year, my goal was to hit 5,000 and I hit 20 in December. And then this year, I started 20,000 in January of this year in YouTube, and I'm at 62 currently, slowly but surely. My goal is to hit 100K in December. I don't know if I can, but that is my manifestation. um I also, like, with songs, I'm gonna end this song. Again, this is like Filipino, Jose Mari Chan and Regine Velasquez. Like, if you don't know Filipinos, we love to sing anywhere, publicly, doesn't matter. We have no filter when it comes to that. Another thing is we're overly dramatic, and Noni told me it's not just Filipino, it's Asians in general. I'm like, oh, we are, I don't know, like, we're just overly dramatic. When we're sad, we're sad. When we're happy. Like, it's just what it is. But if you truly are our friends, it's all about the heart. This is my own quote, like, if you want to handle yourself with your brain, with your mind. Be structured, be resolute, really, with no emotions in there with yourself. But when you handle other people, handle it with love, with your heart, because you have no freaking idea what is happening in their life right now. They could be happy, they could be dancing, whatever, but they could be suffering about something else, right? So please handle
Amen.
others with your heart. That's my message. And this is for my sister Susana. And I know she loves me and I love her, but I always sing this song for myself. Like, I don't know if Homer is still here, but it says, like, if you love me like you tell me, please be careful with my heart. Right? It doesn't have to be romantic. It's for friendship, right? Think about it. It's through our emotions that we kill people. It's through our emotions that we feel rejection. It's through our emotions when we act to do something irrational, right? Because if you'd use your brain logically, you wouldn't do that. Like, why would you want to go to prison for 80 years times 100 because you kill someone with passion, but because of that emotion, right? And that is the reason why, if you love me like you tell me, please be careful with my heart. I know I'm overly dramatic. Let me sing that. It
Yeah.
goes like this. Let me see how. If you love me like you tell me, please be careful with my heart. That's how it goes, by the way. Now take it
All right.
away, Matt. Take it away before I start singing again.
I love it. I could listen to I could listen to that all day. Take it away. Thank y'all for watching. I appreciate y'all, everyone here. Um, I hope everyone has a good rest of the day. Thank you, CJ. I really appreciate you, Mike, everyone. Um, yeah, peace and love, y'all.
Right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow for Rebel with a Cause, people. And we're going to talk about sustaining after you write with your book. How do you sustain that momentum? So, bye, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.